to the elders. I was originally scheduled to speak today, and a week or two ago, some of you noticed that in the bulletin, but we corrected that and in the bulletin so that we have a guest speaker this morning, Pastor Darayl Larsen and his wife Sandy. And I don't know who else is going to be involved in the service, but come on up, Elder Larsen. I will just say, as far as I know, he was a fairly recent pastor, full-time pastor at Moses Lake Church. Is that right?
Well, till about 10 years ago.
Oh, okay. So he's, quote, retired now, and we're glad that he's able to come and speak occasionally and here and elsewhere. And I'm going to turn the service over to him, and he will direct the rest of the program until the end of our service.
I'll try to do that.
Okay.
I have to get that ready. I prepared all this program so my wife could do it. I'm Darayl, Pastor Darayl, and this is my wife. That's Pastor Sandy. And we were in Moses Lake the last time we were in a church, and that's where we retired, and we still live there. Back in that time, we had Lois and Virgil there with us, and that was a good thing, and we kept contact. So now, when we go places, we quite often invite them to come along with us. And I want to thank this church for letting them come with us to La Paz for our mission trip. That's what we want to talk about today, as our mission trip. But I want to tell you something about that happened to us just a couple of weeks ago. We were hiking up past Leavenworth on the Icicle Gorge Trail, and then we were on our way home Sabbath afternoon, and we said, you know, we're going to go to Abundant Life Church in a couple of Sabbaths, and we ought to stop by and see what's going on over there. And it was very nice to see how far you've been going with your church. And we are very interested in mission building activities, so we wanted to see how your church was doing. And so we came along, but we did notice that you hadn't quite got the roof on yet. And you know what it was doing a couple of weeks ago? It was raining and raining and raining and raining, and somehow the little cracks between the sheeting on the roof didn't get all the rain off. So a lot of it fell down inside. But I had some missionary-minded people with me, and they saw the water and they said, I gotta have a broom. Kathy grabbed a broom and started sweeping. Well, if she's gonna sweep, I better too. And her husband started, so we swept out a bunch of water, and we thought that was a way of being missionaries in Abundant Life. I'm sure there was a lot of water still there when you get wet the next time, Mike, to work there, but we put some of it outside anyway. So we this year went on a mission trip to La Paz, Mexico, Baja California, Sur, the southern part of Baja California, and we took a large group of people with us. These are the folks that went with us from Spokane. We picked a few more up on the way, and another large group was there too. But you know, I'm going to let the lady in charge tell us all about that. So it's your turn, dear.
Like he said, he does all the work and then I talk. Something's wrong with that picture, I know. We work together, but we do enjoy, we have a great time going on mission trips. We've been doing this for several years. So today we're just going to tell you a little bit about our last trip and what happened and where we went. He already told you that. We had a group of 29 people this year. It was the largest group, and came from all over. Several were from our Moses Lake Church, but we had people from Wenatchee, from Seattle, Newport. We even had some people from Canada. So God's the one that puts these groups together. We don't have anything to do with it. I send out word that we're going to do a trip, and the word passes around, and then we pray about it. We say, Lord, who do you want to go on this trip? You know what we're going to do. You know what we're going to need, and it works out every time. So we go,
And some people just call you up and say, when is the next trip? Put us on the list.
and that's what's happening right now. So we need to get some dates set because people are wanting to go when they hear about these trips because they're so much fun and we work hard. We go just to try to make a difference in people's lives. That's what we go for. And so that's always our thing. We want to impact lives. So this is most of our team. I think we're missing a few people here, and this was down in La Paz. And this included the I team that went with us. This is Constantino, and he was one of the people sort of in charge of our group down there. And I'm just showing you his picture right now because I want you to remember that name, Constantino, because you're going to see him again. But these people, seems like they just have a mission and they want to do it. So they had bought some land, and the pastor said, but we need to build, we have some money, we bought our land, but we need to build a community center. Does this come off? So, thank you very much. So, they wanted a community center where they have a different idea, and this is a pilot project down there. It's a new concept. So they're building this center where they're going to have physicians to visit, dental clinics in there. They're going to give health talks. They're going to do all kinds of outreach activities. They'll have clothing distribution, clothing storage. That's all the things they're going to do and more. And so they said, we need someone to help us build the center. And I said, well, yeah, we'd like to do that. I'm sure that would be great. And then, of course, we needed to find some money to help them do that. But these people don't wait, which I hope you're not doing either, till they got their new church. So we prayed for God to abundantly bless. I went the wrong way, did I? Okay. And this is our prayer, that God will just bless us. So this was the picture they sent. They had some land ready for us. But they said, we can't wait for you guys to come and build the church. We've got to do something. So look what they did. They wanted to have outreach. You wouldn't believe it. This is a medical clinic down there in the city of La Paz, way on the outskirts, out of town in the poorer areas. And they had a physician there, and he was seeing patients. They invited the people to come in. And they had clothing distribution that day. And I thought, wow, you know, if they can work and they don't even have a building or anything, we can certainly go down and help them and try to get this to going. So this is a pilot project because if you will notice, many churches, especially the smaller churches, we're here on Sabbath, right? Maybe if we're lucky, we meet once during the week. And what happens to your church all week long? It sits empty, doesn't it? Their plan now is that this building will not sit empty all week, but on Sabbath, there's a big hall in the back, and that's where they're going to have church every week. So the people come, and they're used to coming there, and then they invite them into church. So I thought, this sounds like a great idea. So that's what we went to help with. But so there we were. They sent us the picture and they said, this is what we would like you to do. We're going to work on this. And I said, okay, you build the foundations, have everything ready, right? That's kind of something we require every time so we can get there. And then we lay block. Virgil's an expert block layer and multitasking person. And so we go and we want to build up and get that. And this is the deal. We have nobody that's professional to do this. We have learned bit by bit, and people come and they learn, and we do, because our theme song is God is able. And we're going to sing that here in a minute. But He is the one that helps put this all together. We don't even know who's coming on these trips until we get a group put together. And I've never had an expert person that knows how to lay block. I've never had one of those kind of people. But now we have some experts because they've been doing it for several years. But it's because He is able. And I thought it would just be nice if we'd sing this song once, because when we go, I spend hours, and I know a lot of other people do, just praying and asking God to guide and lead us and help us to know what to do. And so that's kind of what we do. It's not a vacation, by the way. People think, oh, we're going to go down and have a nice vacation. I say, no, it's not a vacation.
Well, you're going to Cabo.
Yeah.
That's a vacation place.
But we didn't get to stay there, did we? Let's sing this song. I want y'all to wake up now and let's sing this song. Technology doesn't agree with me very much, but that's okay, we'll get there. If God's able to heal the brokenhearted, the lame people, don't you think he's able to help build a church or go and, get a group together? I think he is. So every morning we sing this song after worship and then we're off to work. And Virgil and Lois went with us on this trip. And as I said, come here, Virgil, I'm going to ask you a couple questions. He loves to be up front, if y'all don't know that. In case you haven't learned that yet, I know they're fairly new here still. He likes to be up front and do all this stuff. Hi, Virgil.
Is her nose growing?
So I had asked that the foundations be laid, right? The week before he said, I text the pastor, he's good. I said, send me pictures. I want to see how the foundations are coming. The picture didn't come. So the first day we're out and we're going around seeing our projects. And when we drove up, this is what we saw. I was really disappointed. I thought, oh no, now what are we going to do? Virgil had a different outlook.
Just looked like work.
What did you think?
Well, it looked like we need to pour some footings and start laying block.
So,
What were they doing when you got there?
They were setting frame forms
They were tying
and tying up rebar.
rebar. And so what did you guys do?
Oh, 3 or 4 of us stayed and helped them so they could get it done in an hour or two.
he likes the mic too, you notice. I didn't say you were done yet. So, we were out seeing the different sites, but several of our group, Virgil and Lois, said, well, if there's something that needs done. And the fellows in charge told us the next day that these guys, they tied all this rebar. I don't know if you know what that entails. It's a lot of hard work. They did what would have taken these 2 men probably 3 days to do. And they just got busy right that first afternoon before we were even starting to work. The people down there mostly live a very simple life. This is one of the neighborhood houses by the church that we built last year. And I don't know, Lois, if you want to say, what do you think about, just come up for a minute, what do you think about the people there? Are they mostly sad? Are they happy? Or I think I need to move this around.
They're very happy and they have nothing.
What impressed you? What was one of the impressions you took from being there?
I think probably just being content with what we have is probably one of the biggest things that impresses me when I go there.
One of the ladies on our team said, I don't need all this stuff I have at home. You don't really need it all, do you? But this is how a lot of the people live. This is a very poor area. So before we went, thank you, Lois, I'll give you a break here. Before we went, got a text from down there, and they said, how would you like to do the week of prayer? Or no, it didn't say that. It said, would you please do the week of prayer? And I looked at my husband, I said, honey, they want a week of prayer. And he says, well, I can't really do it because I had to be out at the site translating. And I said, well, I ain't going to do a week of prayer. I've never done that. And I said, we can't do that. But I said, well, we'll pray about it. So I answered back, I said, we'll pray about it. And we thought about it and prayed and prayed. And then I remember one of the people now going on our trip, first time we have a person named Jackie who can speak Spanish, knows the Lord. And I said, Jackie, how would you like to do a week of prayer? And he said, I've never done a week of prayer. I said, well, you could do it. He says, my Spanish isn't that great. And I said, I bet you can. Just pray about it, Jackie. So in a couple weeks, we put together this thing for a week of prayer. The kids are just, oh, Lois and Virgil had Vespers for us. We're out on the beach, and that was a fun evening, and we just had a good time. And they told about the trip they had just been on before. So here they are, just so you know, they actually did go. But they just stayed on the beach the whole time. That's kind of all they did. They're with their friend Grady. Here's the kids at the school, and we're doing this week of prayer and just having a great time. There you can see Pastor Darayl up there, and this is a fairly large part of our group. Jackie's down there, but then Jackie was only on a 10-day stay, so then what happened?
Oh, he went home, so I had to finish. So I did 2 days of the week of prayer, and the last day we were there, our son Chris was with us, and he was playing the guitar a little earlier than that picture, and Chris noticed that those kids at that school, they didn't have any soccer balls, any basketballs, any kind of balls to play with. So he took a little trip down to the local Walmart, and he got a bunch of balls, and at the end of the week of prayer, and we finished the week of prayer, he said, oh, I have something for you. He threw them out to the kids, and that was a wonderful blessing for them. They really appreciated that.
So we had some other projects that we were going to do, and you saw the picture. Uh-oh, there's Constantino again, don't forget him. Great guy, right, Virgil? Yeah. Okay, here we are, just out at the work site. This is the church that we built last year when we went down a year ago in February. And it's called the Maranatha Church. It's across the street from the little house that you saw. And Darayl said, why don't we paint the inside of that church? And I said, oh, that's a great idea. That's what we're going to do. We have enough people and we can paint the inside of this church. Well, then I forgot that we hadn't put that in our budget. I mean, it wasn't that I forgot, I just didn't think about it. And you have to have money to buy paint. And paint is very expensive down in Mexico. Very expensive if you're going to get a good quality paint. So if we talked to the pastor, he said, yeah, they figured out the paint and everything. They went down to actually they have a Home Depot there. And he sent us the list because they don't want us to think that they're spending our money wrong. And he says it's going to cost about $500 to paint the church. Is that right? $1,000, I'm sorry. Yeah, he was the one that kept the books. $1,000 to paint the inside. We didn't paint the outside because it would just get marked up. So I said, now what are we going to do? So in one of the letters I just mentioned, this is one of the projects we're going to do if we come up with the money. And would you know, God sent, next thing we knew, we had a check in the mail for half of that. Another day down the road, another check came in the mail, and we had the money to buy the paint for the inside of this church, which was great. So I told the pastor we want to paint the church, and then he sent back, he says, I'm really sorry, but I forgot. I didn't know. He said, the inside's not ready to paint. He said, they haven't put the second coat of plaster on the inside, and he said, we can't paint it that way. And I said, well, how much is that going to cost? Well, that was only a couple $100 more, but there wasn't hardly any time. And I said, you got to get the plaster on, and it's got to dry before we can paint, and we got to do it when we get there. So what are you going to do if you want us to paint? And so in about 1 week, they had a little crew together, and they got the inside all plastered up. And by the time we got there, it was dry, and we were able to paint the church. And here's one of our ladies, she's not painting the outside, but she's working on the window trim. And that was all good until I went out one day and I was kind of looking, there's the bottom of her ladder. I said, I'm the Department of Labor and Industries, you can't do that. And she said, well, it's working just fine. So it was a little worrisome. So we fixed that. I went and we found a different ladder somewhere. But, well, I was there one day, I'm there on your left. A lady walked by with her little boy, and she was looking in the window, and she saw us painting. And she said, "Hola, hola." And I looked down, I thought I recognized her. She said, "Do you remember me?" She said, "I came last year to the eye clinic." And she said, "I got glasses from you." I said, "Where are your glasses?" They said, "Oh," she said, they're on my table at home." She said, "I just was using them." And it's just rewarding to see how God uses things. You go there to make a difference in people's lives. And she remembered from a whole year ago, and she still remembered me. So we go there just to make a difference and see what we can do. Here's the ladies painting, and they even had a little fun. You know, you got to have some fun on mission trips. That's usually with Virgil around, but he wasn't here, so they had to have fun all by themselves. And then the Sabbath afterwards, we were able to go back, but you can see the inside of the church, and you saw how when he was putting the plaster on, what it looked like, and now it's all painted up, and the windows are all painted, and that's the inside of that church. So that was another one of our projects. And then back out at the construction site, Daryl's pretending to work here so I could take a picture, right? And this is Lazaro, thank you. Lazaro was the main boss, and he's also the one that went over and got the other church ready. This is a meeting of the minds, trying to figure out how they can get this wall straight. I think that's what was going on there. We had an excellent place to stay this year. The year before, we had stayed at one of the churches, slept on floors. It wasn't the best. This year, we stayed at a non-denominational camp. We had a real kitchen to work out of. We had actually beds that we could sleep on, bunk bed type things. And this was their dining area, and so we painted in there also, and these ladies were part of the paint crew and part of the kitchen crew. And we did that just for goodwill. They didn't know a lot about us and our church and our program, and so we just wanted to do something because they were so kind to let us use them. Of course, we paid to stay there, but not very much. They gave us a very low rate just to barely pay their expenses. And the president, it's Maranatha Ministries International, I think. And the president happened to come down while we were there, and he came over and he said, "I'd like to just talk to you one of these days." So he came over and we visited, and I told him all about our projects and what we do. And they also do some kind of medical projects. So he said to me, he said, "Do you think that it would be possible if when some of our doctors come down that they could use this clinic that you're building and that our doctors could work in your clinic and see patients there?" And I said, "Well, I think it's a great idea. I'm sure I'll talk to the pastor." So I went and talked to the pastor. I said, "Hey, would you mind if they bring some doctors down to work in your clinic that we're building?" You know what he said? He said, "Oh," he said, "that'd be so wonderful." He says, "Those people, bring them in the front door, we'll take them out through in the back door, and we'll get them all baptized pretty soon because we're going to teach them about the Lord." So I thought that was a great thing. Okay, it's after 12 and we're not done, so I don't know what we have to do here. But back on the construction site, here things are moving forward. Now our whole theme has changed. We no longer can build walls. That's what we went to do. Now we have to focus. And how deep were these holes, Virgil? How deep was this foundation? Do you have some idea?
About 5 feet of dirt inside of that.
Yeah. So it wasn't just a little this was deep, and so they had dug a lot of dirt. We had all these mountains of dirt, and Virgil rebuilt, and he said, "I'm not shoveling all that dirt in once we get the foundations laid right." And so one day they called and said, "We've got to have a better way to do this."
It was Virgil and Glenn. You know Glenn, he worked here on the church too. Glenn and Virgil came to me and they said, "Pastor, we are not going to push this dirt back in that hole." We were bringing in truckloads. We brought in 15 truckloads, I think, altogether. 15 meters of dirt, 15 cubic yards of dirt in 11 or 12 truckloads. And moving those in a wheelbarrow would have been very time consuming. And we didn't have much time left. So Virgil and Glenn came and said, listen, we've got to have a tractor. Where am I going to get a tractor? There's no United Rentals or Star Rentals down in La Paz. There was a little place where they rented some things, so I went with Larsen over there, and we talked to the man. He says, oh, we don't rent anything you can't carry away in your car. Okay. All right. Where should we go to find something like that? Well, maybe you could go to the Caterpillar company, and you can talk to them, and they might rent you one of their skip loaders, their Bobcats. Okay, we went over there. Yeah, we have nice Bobcats, and we're glad to rent it to you. It's $225 a day. Okay, well, I said I'll go back and talk to Virgil and Glenn and tell them that we can't do it. And they said, we've got to do it. Okay, we'll rent it for one day. The last day, I hope there's only enough money. But then, as I was going down the road to pick some things up, I saw, what do you think I saw alongside the road? A Bobcat with a sign that said, for rent. And a telephone number. So I came back and got my phone out and I called the telephone number, and the gentleman answered the phone and says, do you have a Bobcat for rent? Oh yes, we just started renting that Bobcat. We just put that out there. Just the one I needed, they put it out there, right? And we just put it out there, and I said, well, how much does it cost? $75 a day.
Whoa.
Now usually when I'm asked the price in La Paz, I say, if I give you so much, will you give it to me? But when they asked $225 and he said $75, I says, that's a deal. I said, I need it for 2 days. How do I come down and get it? Oh, we'll bring it to you. We'll be there in an hour. So the tractor came out and we started, and I said, a problem here, this is Thursday. We want to use it tomorrow on Friday, we want to use it on Sunday, but we do not want to use it on Sabbath. And the gentleman said, oh, okay. You charged me for 2 days and I have it for 3. Yeah, that's okay. All right. So I just took my hand in my pocket and I took out $150 and I handed it to him. And I said, okay, you're on. He left the tractor. What happened to the tractor, Richard?
Ran it for an hour and a half, it broke down.
Ran it for an hour and a half and it broke down.
Oh.
So we waited for them to fix it. On Friday afternoon, they brought back the part and put it back on, and it was running good. And I said, now this is a problem. I paid for 2 days. We only used it for an hour and a half this morning. So I get it for Monday too, don't I? And he said, of course. So on Sunday, we were pushing dirt all over the place, and we got it all done. But I consider that they used it for some other things too. They used it to carry the cement when it came. But it was a used one. It broke down, but the Lord made it work all the way, and the Lord provided it for us. Because they were just starting a little rental business, and that was the first thing they put out on the street right the day that I was looking for one. God provides totally beyond what we ask or think, exceeding abundantly. That's the experience of mission trips.
That's right. We have lots of cool stories like that, but you can't hear them all. But meanwhile, Lois is busy over at the school. Lois, come and tell us about what you were doing. Here, I have 3 or 4 pictures and I can kind of run through as you talk about them. But this is what Lois was doing all day, every day. And if you don't think that gets tiring after a while, I can see people lined up. Go ahead, Lois.
Especially when you don't speak their language, you just point and grunt. And it usually works. I was able to work with Second Hope Ministries, which is a ministry out of Walla Walla. And they came down with over 3,000 pairs of glasses. They're all categorized. We had a refractor there, which is a machine that tests your eyes, and they were able to test eyes, and then the machine would give the number of glasses that had the closest numbers. Right here he's doing a refractor. This is a local doctor here that came and worked with us. And then we select the glasses and try them on. Well, you know, I don't know if you've never had glasses or ever had glasses, you know that just one little number on your glasses wrong can just affect your vision horribly. But God provided many miracles. He provided glasses for everybody that came. Everybody. And sometimes we just got tears in our eyes. We were so excited because there were no glasses with the right numbers, and we would pick one out of a hat, and it would work for him. And God provided miracles. It was just really fun to see, because these people, it takes yeah, it takes months worth of wages to buy a pair of glasses there. So many of them just do without, and they can't see because they can't do their needlepoint, the ladies who make money doing needlepoint to support their families, or the man who can't work because he can't see, or the child who cannot see at school, and so their life would be a failure because they would not succeed in school. See, there are the glasses. They're categorized in boxes, many in each box, and they each have a number, and it was just amazing to see the miracles. And the people came. They knew we were going to be there at 9 o'clock. They would be there, I don't know, if they were there at 6 in the morning, lined up for these glasses, and they would sit patiently, never have a problem at all. They'd just sit and wait and wait and wait.
Thank you, Lois. That was great. What they bring, you said 1,500 or so pairs of glasses, I think. 3,000. Okay, sorry. And this was another miracle story that we don't have time to tell you. But these people, this gentleman was just near blind, and he was able to see a little bit. With Lois's friend here, who became her friend, that helped her translate the lady on the left. All right. And then we had another project, Virgil. Then every year we do one more project. Just tell them what we're doing here, Virgil.
Looks like they're playing with bags. Every year we take down little items, like soaps and little toys and different things, and they spread them out on the tables in categories, and then you just fill them in bags and take them around to the communities that are close to the church that we're working at. You can see Glenn there filling up bags, shopping.
We shopped at our own table, right? And then we take these bags to the community. There they are. We made 75 of them this year. And we take those out to the community around where the building project is. And as we did that, just really quick, I'll have to tell you one story, or Darayl will. As they were taking the bags out, they took some out early in the morning, and so then later in the day, the gentleman came up.
We just went down the street, a couple of houses, and dropped the bag off. The gentleman wasn't there, but his wife was, and she got the bag, and he came home and he looked at his bag and he said, I wonder what that is over there. So he walked over to the church, and he found me, and he said, is this going to be a Seventh-day Adventist church? I said, yes. He says, oh, I'm from Peru. I've lived here in Mexico for 13 years, and I went to school, the Adventist school. My family is all Adventist, but I haven't been to church for 13 years. And I said, well, the church came looking for you. It's right here. I don't know where that's going, but we gave his name to, he also met Pastor Manolo, and I know he's not going to let that lie. He's going to work on it. So that was a little miracle there.
Thank you. And then one day, we're just almost done. We had a few days left, and the lady came and said, we need to go paint that bathroom at the school. It looks really bad. They have tile up, but at the top it just looked horrible. They love bright colors. I said, okay, see what color we put up there. And the two teachers came out to help us paint, and we got that done in a day. So we did all kinds of projects, but God was the one that provided everything because we couldn't. There's one more story though, Virgil, you can come back up here. It'll be all right. I promise, I'll hold your hand or something. I wasn't there, Darayl wasn't there, but it's a good story. So Virgil, tell us about what happened with the truck. They brought a truckload of dirt, right, and they're going to start filling these holes where the wall was, one of the walls.
As the pastor was saying earlier, the loader broke down, and so we couldn't, didn't have a lot of room to put material, but it was on Friday, and we needed like 10 loads in there, so we were kind of crowding the wall. Well, the first load came in, and he got a little close to the wall and dumped the load. Well, the wall leaned back about 6 inches on us. So we dug it out, and the wall came right back perfectly plumb. And it was just amazing how God took care of what could have been a bad deal.
A really bad deal. Thank you, Virgil. Yeah, God is good. But you see, it's not us. We have nothing to do with it. It's all God's stuff, and that's what makes it so much fun, and that's why we have such a good time, because it's all God's stuff. We had a budget that would work and take care of helping to put these walls up, and that money went there. At the end, we were able to leave some scholarship money for students at the school. We bought blokies for another blocks, sorry. Oh, here we are. We're still, I need to show you these pictures, because somewhere in here, I think, there's Glenn again with Chris, our son. And this is kind of how you just they mix the cement, put it in wheelbarrows, put it in buckets, poured it in. It's hard work. And here's Lois.
Oh, I forgot to tell you that the fellow across the street, when we got there, he said, "You guys can come over and use my bathroom anytime you want to." And what are you going to do over there? Well, we're building a community service building, and that was nice. And he looked over, who's going to do all the work? That skinny guy over there? And afterwards, he told me, Virgil, you were gone. He said, I saw that fellow, and I said, he's not going to last even 2 days. And then at the end, he said to me, wow, that gringo is really a real slacker. No. That's a private joke between Virgil and me. But that was the neat thing that he said. He didn't think the Virgil could last very long. And he showed him.
After the eye clinic was done, then Lois was anxious to get out at the job site and work, and she worked very hard out there, as you can see. And I just put these pictures in. There's Virgil down in the trenches. I wanted you to know that they actually didn't sit on the beach. Here he is directing traffic, telling people where to go. No, he was not doing that. I'm not sure what that was all about, but and yeah, Virgil, they both worked very hard. Everybody on the team worked hard, and we had a good group.
His main job was to mix the concrete.
So this is the church, a different church in town. There's 5 of them, I think. This is the Los Olivos Hopeful Church. And they, one day the pastor told Darayl, he said, they feel kind of bad over there. Nobody's come over to help them. And we didn't have any more people or time. But we gave them some money. We went and saw. We gave them some money then to buy some blocks for that church. We new projector screen. This is the group that's going to be meeting over in the community center. They're meeting in a school classroom. We bought them a projector screen so they will have somewhere where they can put their songs and things up. So this is just the kind of thing we think, did we make a difference? Did we make a difference in people's lives? This is Pastor Manolo on the left-hand side, and he came out and worked. I said, Pastor, he's got 2 churches. He's the youth leader. He's got 4 churches. He's the youth leader for the whole region. He's got so much. You don't have to be up there. He said, oh, yes, I need to be out with you. So one of the ways we made a difference, here's the eye team again, and it's not very clear. You can't see the gentleman here, Ron in the green. Every eye patient that we saw at the end, when they got their glasses, they would say, may I pray with you? And then we saw about 900 people, I think. 900 people we prayed with. And we had just short prayer asking God to bless in their lives. I know we made a difference, and they got a phone call. Lois's friend got a phone call and says, where does your church meet? Anybody that would come and help and just do things like this? I want to know more about your church. So one day, oh, it's got to go that way, huh? There's Constantino. Remember Constantino? I told you not to forget him. There he is in the middle. And one day we got a text from the pastor. He said, Constantino's going to get baptized. He was not a baptized Christian at that time. He's going to get baptized, and we were so excited. And then his mother-in-law got sick. It didn't work out. And a few weeks later, finally, we got this picture. I don't know where the sound is. If there is, you can turn that up, please. A little louder, maybe.
Por la profesión de fe que tú haces, yo como ministro del Evangelio te bautizo en el nombre del Padre, del Hijo y del Espíritu Santo. Amén. Amén.
Yo te seguiré, oh Cristo, donde quiera que estés, donde tú me guíes, sigo, sí, Señor, te seguiré, yo te seguiré, oh Cristo, tu morir para mí, aunque todos te negaron, yo, Señor, te seguiré.
Y como dijo,
So,
el
Pastor's got a real good sense of humor, and he's making a call now for anyone else that would like to be baptized and give their lives to Jesus. And then he says, is there anyone else that needs to be baptized today before we let the water out of the baptismal tank? I just want to ask that question. He's just fun. And so we are finishing here. We are done. So this is, we went back. We stayed the extra week. We were going to have vacation. It didn't happen. But then we went back the next Sabbath, Darayl and I and another couple. And they met us out here. They wanted to show us that they had gotten the walls. You can see in the background part way up. And we sang He's Able. And I talked to them and I said, you know, we've been here only for a couple of weeks. But I said, if we could come and do this, I said, we sacrificed to come here. I wanted them to know that we were not rich people. I said, we did bake sales, we did yard sales, we did all of this so we could come and be here. And for us, it was a huge blessing. And the pastor said, if they can do it, we can do it. And then this all went up after we were gone. There's the pastor. He said, I want you to know I laid some block. Don't say I never did. So their idea is to get busy. You get a plan and you get busy and you do it. And here they are. He told them, you know, if the ladies from that group can come out here and work like Lois did, he said, then you ladies can come and help us too. And so they get busy, they share the good news, and I think we're done. And God did for us exceeding abundantly above all that we could ask or think. They worked hard, and this is the very latest, maybe 2 weeks ago we got these pictures, or last week. They're putting a cement roof on, and this is the inside where they brace it up, and they're getting ready. And here's the roof they put on that. We don't know why, but that's, and here's the first part of the center. So my closing thought to you is, if we could go down there and do that, and if God blessed exceeding abundantly, I just want to, we're praying for you guys here at your church and what you're doing. I think it's great. We were privileged to go by and see it. God will do exceeding abundantly above all that you ask or think, but you've got to move forward in faith and just keep going. And it sounds like there's a work be tomorrow, huh? Yes, Virgil?
On that pour on that roof.
Oh, hang on, everybody. I wanted to hear.
On that pour on that roof, I heard it took them 13 hours. And they done it all up ramps to get on top of the roof.
Yes, you're right. And I kind of went over that fast. 13 hours they were hauling concrete. That's a lot of work.
It'd have been faster if Virgil had been there. But
That's right. Could have done it in half the time. So hang on there, folks. Claim God's promises and let's go forward. And now we're going to sing our closing song, Is He Is Able. Oh yes, it's on here. My husband did it.
He's able, he's able, I know he's able, I know my Lord is able to carry me through. He's able, I know he's able, I know my Lord is able to carry me through. Let's bow our heads. Thank you, Heavenly Father, that you have promised and you fulfill your promise to bless us exceeding abundantly beyond, above all that we ask or think. You did that for us in Mexico, and we know that you're going to do that for the Abundant Life Church here. In fact, that's in their name. Abundant life, that you give them abundantly. And we just pray your blessing on this church family, on your church family around the world. We pray that soon the day will come and Jesus is here and we can go home with him. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.